Hello, all my superstar artists. We are going to start drawing our little Gertie the Little Yak that was read to you in the assembly by Miss Pierce. She's very, very cute, isn't she? So I thought we would start drawing her. I'm just going to switch the camera and say hello to you, since I haven't said hello to you in a while. Hello! So we're going to do a great drawing. I'm looking forward to seeing lots and lots of your drawings because you are amazing artists. Some of the pictures you did of the blue-footed boobies, all of the pictures were incredible, and the Mr. Men's, and use your art to really help you just sit down and have some time to yourself to be creative, okay? You're all amazing artists, and it's good to just keep developing those skills, but it's also good for you, okay? Right, let's crack on with the video then. I'm going to switch cameras, say bye-bye, okay? And I look forward to seeing your pictures soon. Here we go. So now Gertie, she is quite hard actually, so be gentle with yourselves when you start. Okay, I'll keep showing you the picture. The first thing you need to do, I'm going to raise the camera a bit. So this is your sheet of A4 paper, and the first bit we're going to do, we're actually going to mark the points that are between her, the top of her head and this bit here. So we're making the curve for where the hat goes, okay? That's our starting point. So you find, I think, come down, if you look, this dot here, it's sort of in the middle, and it's about a hand, my hand, so for you it's about a hand and a half up from the bottom of the page, and you put your little dot, okay? Once you've got your first dot, which is the top of the hat here, okay, you're then going to do the second dot, and for that it's about 2 fingers across, and about the same down, 2 fingers down. Certainly for me it's 1, 2, 3 pencils across, and 1, 2, 3 pencils down. Okay. Right. Next, you make the lovely curve, because remember this is the base of her hat. Now we're going to start do her sort of little face. Now her face it reminds me of a jelly bean. You eating jelly beans? I love jelly beans. I'm not sure which my favourite flavour is, but anyway, so it's like a jelly bean. So it is quite a difficult shape, so we're going to take our time drawing that shape. So the best way of doing it is allow one finger, one of my fingers, so maybe for some of you, if you're a bit littler, it's a bit smaller, okay, or 2 pencils, and across, and come down again about a finger and put a dot. That's to help you do that curve, and you just join it with a curve. And then you're going to do the same. You're going to extend from that curve that you've just done to the dot. You're going to go, don't make the line too straight. I made mine a little bit too straight here. You can go, make it straight, so the same distance that you came down, you come out. You can go up a little bit if you want, but do not go down. At least keep it straight or a little bit curved going up. Remember, she has a jelly bean nose. And then, so can you see on this one I've done the curve a bit better. So this is where we finished, and now you're going to just curve it round a bit more. So if I have the previous one here, I just add to that curve. I curve it round, okay, to make her nose. So now you've got the curve, and then you're going to add a finger at least. So for you about 2 fingers, and wherever you finish that curve there, you put the dot pretty much down there, and then you're going to make that curve round to your dot. So on this dot, the curve is coming round to it, a round curve. Remember, she's got a lovely jelly bean nose. And now you should have this shape. If you don't have a soft shape like this, use your rubber now to try and make it a little bit softer. And by softer, I mean getting that lovely curve, a dip coming down, up and around. Just try it. And if you don't want to try it now, you can try it at the end. Don't get in a panic about it. Okay? then your end point is here. So now where you finished here, you join it in a lovely curve coming up. So here, you've got a lovely curve going from here that joins up to here. Okay. Now we're going to do the eyes. Now she has very, very expressive eyes. So you're all very good now at drawing 2 circles about the size of a green pea. Make them, my finger doesn't fit. The tip of my pencil fits with a bit of space to spare, if you can see. And make them quite close to the line. So don't make them down in the middle of the face. They're quite tucked up to near the edge of what will be her hat, especially the lower eye. And they're quite tucked into the edges. So make just 2, whatever size you make the first one, make the second one, and try and make sure that you can get your pinky finger into that circle. Mine doesn't fit. That's because I'm an adult. Yours should fit. Now we're going to add her expression. Now her expression, the eyes, you need to make them nice and small, the little black bit. You're doing it in pencil, so I wouldn't worry too much. But I noticed when I made my masterpiece here, although she's good, I felt that I made the eyes, the pupils, the dark bits, a little bit too big. Because in actual fact, they're even more expressive if they're a little bit smaller. So if you look on this one here, I've made them a little bit smaller because that way she has a little bit, her look of surprise is a bit bigger. But you can practice. Just do it in very soft pencil so that you can rub it out and change it. Because afterwards, if hopefully you have a black coloured pencil or a marker, you can make it a little, you can choose exactly how you want it. So if you look, this is how big I made them on my masterpiece, but I would recommend making it a little bit smaller. This gives her a bigger look of sort of that surprise. Now we're going to do the hat. So you go from the edge here, about 1.5 fingers, and I ran it from the middle. So I took a midpoint, middle of your hat, and a straight line across, an imaginary line, and I did my dot. And then I used a lovely curve. So don't make it flat. She's got a lovely hat. Make a lovely curve to join that, because we're making her hat. You're making this curve here. And then you come to the edge here, this point here, and you come down about 1 finger and a bit again, and across just a little bit, and you put a dot across, just so across to the right just a little bit, you put a dot, and you know it, you're going to join it with a lovely soft curve again, because you're doing this side of the hat now, coming down to the edge. And then you just join it up to the edge of her jelly bean face, which is about, if you look at it, it's about midway, sort of just where that nose finishes or the down bit finishes, yeah? So try not to make it up to here, try and bring it right round, because she's got one of those really cool little woolly hats that you see often in the Andes in South America and in other parts of the world where they love to cover up their ears. Okay, and now we're going to add, you don't have to add this now, but I did just so that we got her expression, her little nostrils and her mouth. Now when you colour her in, she's black, but you can colour her in grey, and that way it's easier with the nostrils and the smile. Okay, you colour her in a soft grey on her face, but if you do want to make black, you use a little bit of white pencil, but it'll be very hard to see, so I just do it grey. The nostrils, you need to make the first one really close to the edge. The second one, if you line it up, you go across and it lines up with the pupil of the eye. That's how you work it out where to put it, and keep them quite close, so it's only 1/2 finger. And then her smile, you need to make sure she's got a smile. It's really important, otherwise it changes her expression completely, and that sort of lines up with the bottom part of her eye. It's all quite tight and small. Now we're going to start doing her shape. Now her shape is really good fun, because this, you're just going to do lots of sketching movements, which is really good practice for you. Okay, so your first line is this line here, and you're just going to do a curvy shape like that. Okay, and then I want you to do more. So these lines here that you see here, I've just done them, they're just almost freehand, so just enjoy, but it's just to give you an idea of the outline of how big her fluffy body will be. And I would go down, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which was about a finger in length, the bottom one. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 little parallels, which are obviously her leg, because she has 4 little legs. We're going to build the outside of her shape and her legs. So you do 2 little parallels, and you join them up with a little shape that's like a triangle. So what's important with these parallels is this line is the first line, this one near my thumb, is shorter than the one at the back. The one at the back, you bring it down and make it longer, and then you go up at a little angle towards the top. You go up the hill and you bring it down. Can you see that? Can you see? So the one at the back is longer, then you go up the hill, past the first line, and then you connect it. That's how you make her hooves, and that's how you'll do for all of her legs. And then we do the second leg. Now, because she's standing on a mountain, this is important. So wherever your point was for the first leg, the back part of the first leg, the front part of the second leg is lower down. It's all at an angle. If it helps you, draw a line like this so that you can see that she's on a mountain. Can you see that line that I drew? Very softly so that you can see. Yeah? And then again, remember, the first bit of the leg is shorter, the second bit of the leg is longer, and you draw that little triangle hoof. And then you leave 2 finger spaces, because we're going to make her back legs. Can you see? And again, so the first bit of the leg is shorter, the second bit is longer. And for her back legs, I actually did the 2 sets of legs. So then I did the other parallel legs for the back legs, but you don't have to do that. And then I filled them in with the little hooves. Can you see the hooves? Yes. And then to start giving me an idea of the shape of her body, I used more freehand movements to make her lovely wool. So to do this freehand movement, I'm going to grab a piece of paper and just quickly show you what I want you to do. You can practice on another piece of paper. This is the sort of movement. Okay, let me quickly, like this. So it's freehand, yes? And that's giving you her shape. And you just go up until where you think. So I think this would be the sides of her body, which is about, from where we started, it's about 1.5 hands. 2 hands. For you, it's 2 hands. These are her legs here. Yeah, so you just create. And then when you come to fill up her whole body, you're going to use this sort of freehand movement, which is really good practice for you to learn. And the fun that you're going to have is that then you'll be able to use different colors to make her beautiful coat. So if you look, in my case, I used some turquoise, silver and black and grey, and I sort of just did that freehand movement I've been doing here. I just kept overlaying it with my felt tips. You can do it with colour, but you can choose any colour. She's your little Gertie, so you can choose any colour. And then you come round and you sort of do her bottom. She's got a fluffy bottom, hasn't she? And then this little line here is just those silly little, they're like little detail for her hat. You don't need to worry about that. But if you want to add it, you do a little curve down, and the first little line, they've got like little bells attached, haven't they? And 3 little points, and then you do a second one. And they're just little attachments to the bottom of her hat, because her hat is tied very tightly around the bottom of her chin. Yeah? And now we do these 2 lines here. Can you see this line that I've done here? They run along the edge of her hat, they come out. And this is actually her ear. So this is her little ear, her black fluffy ear. So all you need to do is these 2 lines to give you an idea of where her ear is going to be. And then you can fill that up. Use your pencil now to fill it up so that you know where it is. And again, this is a really rough movement. If I show you with my piece of paper again, wherever I put it. I'll just get another one. So this movement for her ear, you've got your 2 lines and you just fill it up like this. You don't colour it in. You don't colour it in solidly like this. You're just doing these rough, but the ear you actually do fill in quite thickly, but with these rough lines. Okay, right. So we've got ears, and then you keep having some fun. So you're going to make the back of her back, which is really messy and curly, and this is actually her tail. This here is actually her tail. Doesn't look very good on my masterpiece. You can't see it because I made, oh, there you go. But it's actually her tail. I actually think I made it a bit too high. I should have maybe made it a little bit lower down so that it's clearer that it's her tail. Here I've done it a bit better, okay? So you just add that fluff. So if I have her here, you do some funny curls like this, and then you start adding her tail out like this. Don't worry too much about exactly where your lines are going. Remember, you've already got the outline, hopefully, of her shape with your free hand. Okay, and so now you should have, if I quickly draw in where you can see her really quickly, you've got her body, her legs, yeah? So you've got this bit that you're going to play with now, which the way to play with this one is literally just have fun. So you choose your colours, so blue, maybe you want to go all out there and make her a really colourful yak. Oh, and I've got my funny little things, haven't I? Little attachments to her hat. So, and it's this movement, remember, lots of this movement, really lovely, soft hand, and then you add in the other colours. So shall I add in some like this? Yeah. Some blue. Okay. And on her back it's a little bit curly compared to the rest of her. And remember, she's in the wind, so the whole point is that she's at the top of a mountain being blown by the wind. So this bit at the back, you do want some that are sort of sticking out a little bit straight to show that the wind is sort of almost howling and blowing her off the mountain. Yes? Okay. Right, so there we go. There you've got her there. And now, on these ones I've sort of added the detail that I've just shown you. I'm going to whiz through them. The bit that, and the little bit at the hat, which you can do. So you've got the top of the hat, and you just add a little curve, and then you do the same again. So you're adding like another little curve, and then you do 4 little jumps. Okay, so if I was here, and this was her hat, I did 1 curve, 2 curves, and 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to do 4, you can do 5, I don't mind, just make them quite neat. I rushed mine a bit here. There we go, you see? Okay, there we go, and then I've coloured in the legs to help us see, because now we're going to draw the mountain. So draw the mountain, you go right to the edge of your page, and it's actually better to start at the back leg and bring a line coming down all the way to the edge of your page, and then continue that line through her 2 legs, and then continue her line underneath her furry tummy to the next leg, through the legs again, so you're still seeing the line, and then really tightly curve it round, because she is at the pinnacle of a mountain. She's right at the precipice, standing there in the wind. feeling the best ever, feeling really proud of herself and really happy. So she's standing on a pinnacle, on a cliff edge, but feeling happy and feeling the wind in her face and her fur. So you bring it really tightly, quite round, okay? And then you bring it down again, yeah? You bring that all the way down again. Now let me see where my other ones are for this. It doesn't matter. So then the next bit you do, so you've got this line that came down here, there, and you draw a line that comes down here, which gives you your edge of the cliff or the precipice, and then you add some blue to it or any colour to show that this is, okay, the side of the cliff, and she's standing on the snow. And then I added some shadow underneath, which you can do too. So you can do that quite with your Gertie here. This is her with her feet. Let me get her here. You add the shadow. I won't do it actually. I'm just going to get some grey. So you add the shadow in grey. And then you can have a little bit of fun by adding her feet, her little footprints as she walked up the cliff. Yeah. And then the one thing we haven't done, which I haven't done because I wanted you to do it your own way, is obviously her hat has lots of patterns. So if you want some help with that, I'll do that quickly now. So I'll put this here so you can see. So you basically, you join it, go, the one that you definitely must do is go all the way around from her head down to the edge, and then a bar, and then you could make that lines if you want. And then you do another line to split it, and you could have a zigzag. And here you could just have a line. And then along here, you could have one line and some dots, maybe. I'm doing them in black. You could do them in color. And here you could have another line and maybe a zigzag again. There's not much space for zigzag. And then you choose the color pattern. What I would recommend is that you choose maybe just 2 or 3 colors at the most. So red, yellow, blue. You don't have to repeat it. Maybe do a better job of repeating it than the pattern. So if you start red, yellow, blue, keep going red, yellow, blue. But the key color to choose is this along the top here, this first band, and sort of this section here. Choose what color you want, and then you go with that. Okay. Anyway, I hope you have lots of fun. What I would say you could add still is sort of some wind to show that she's in at the top of a mountain. So you can, if you want, add that. Okay, add some blue. I'm going to get some paint in a bit and paint this in nicely. I'm doing this very quickly. I'll paint it in nicely to show that she's on a mountain. Okay, and I look forward. That's really not very good. I look forward to seeing your lovely pictures of Gertie.